Hey, Shawn Dow is going to join us at the bottom of the hour. He's the Campaign for Liberty director for Arizona. New York is at it again, not just with beverages, but now they want to install speed cameras to supposedly save lives, in addition to the red light cameras that supposedly cut down on accidents. Well, 77 cities have already removed speed cameras, but apparently New York says, well, that's just their problem, not ours. So he's going to give us the latest on red light, green light, 1, 2, 3, speed cameras, red light cameras, and HOV lane cameras. Is it really about safety, or is it really about revenue farming? We also have a story about a woman who got a $90 ticket for doing 2 miles an hour under the speed limit. I wonder if that has something to do with revenue farming, or does that have to do with perhaps her safety on a very blustery and windy day where she said I needed to slow down a little so I wouldn't crash. Shawn Dow when we get back. Stick with me. The New York nanny staters who want to worm their way into every nook and cranny of our English muffin lives are moving beyond food and beverages and earbuds. The do-gooders now want to incorporate technology beyond the red light cameras and the cameras for the HOV lanes. Now they want to install speed cameras in an effort to make sure that we are safer. Is it really about safety, or is it about revenue? Joining us on the program to talk about it, Shawn Dow, Campaign for Liberty Director for Arizona. The website is warondriving.com. Mr. Dow, welcome back.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing, brother?
I keep reading these stories, and I know you know the stats on what the real outcome of these red light cameras and these HOV lane cameras and these speed cameras are. Let's start with the fact that 77 cities have already removed speeding cameras. Why does New York think that they're going to be the ones that get it right?
Well, much like with most of the cities that have installed it, their goal is not to improve safety. Their goal is to cover up their inept budgeting skills. Most of the mayors, when they go to enact this, they make dumb statements like, we're going to make bucketfuls of money. And, they just have their hands out. And now with the recent news of these photo radar companies bribing Chicago officials to the tune of $2 million, these politicians are basically just sticking their hands out saying, I want to bribe too.
Well, one of them who's sticking her hand out is Council Speaker Christine Quinn, who appears to be the front runner for the next mayor of New York City. She is down with Bloomberg's ban on beverages, wants to keep Walmart from setting up shop in New York City. And now she says that speeding is tragically the number one cause of fatal crashes in New York City. Speed cameras, she says, are a smart deterrent. But the facts bear something quite different from what she's saying.
That's absolutely correct. If you just go to the Motor Vehicle Department website in New York, you will see that speeding is down around the 1 to 2% of causes of all accidents. The truth of the matter is that Quinn is putting her residents' lives and property at risk so she can scam them out of their money. Just look at the recent court rulings in Ohio. These cameras are unconstitutional. This woman wants to violate your constitutional rights, put your property and lives at risk so she can steal your money.
And as far as stealing the money, the fines for speeding, which I think are actually quite reasonable, maybe you'd disagree with me, $25 for up to 10 miles an hour over the limit, $50, 10 to 30 miles an hour over the limit, $100 for anybody 30 miles or more over the limit. I would have to think, $100, that's not too bad. But that aside,
there's secondary costs. When you get one of these tickets, your insurance is going to rise by about $300 per year. They're issuing 45,000 tickets a month at each one of these cameras at minimum. That is driving up people's insurance costs.
Right. So the indirect costs are obviously way in excess of what the cost of the red light camera would be. I think one thing, Mr. Dow, that people don't know is how the politicians who push for these laws see the revenue generated from them under the guise of safety come back to them so they can get elected and reelected.
Oh, sure, absolutely. Here in Arizona, it's right around $40 million the last time I checked of photo radar money that went to politicians' campaign coffers to get reelected for office.
$40 million of photo radar money so that the politicians can get reelected so that they can do what? Install more of these speed cameras, red light cameras, and HOV lane cameras?
And they're killing the speed cameras. They're killing people. That's why they ripped them out of the freeways here in Arizona. You can't put a speed camera. That's like sticking a speed bump. What do you think's going to happen? What happens is a caterpillar effect. People slow down, and that is not what you want. You want a nice free flow of traffic. Putting that speed camera there is like sticking a speed bump. You're going to increase accidents. They know this. They've seen the studies. They've seen the results. But yet they still want to lie and say it's about safety because it, covers them up for stealing your money.
I look at the tragedy of Newtown, Connecticut, and in the aftermath of that, where 20 children were killed and 6 adults, then the people who have always been about gun control, not about violence in America, but they pin it as gun violence in America, and violence in America is the problem. How that violence manifests itself, one of the ways might be guns, but mental health is another issue. But each time these situations occur, like Newtown, Connecticut, these people that have this innate agenda that they're hardwired for always come to the forefront. Now, this is the third time that they've made a pass at putting this speed camera bill in Albany, and it comes right after that tragic story about the Williamsburg couple who died on the way to the hospital to have the baby, and then ultimately the baby died after the collision. And this is, again, they're using that tragedy as a way to say, see, we could prevent that with red light cameras. But as you point out in the stats you have at warondriving.com, 77 cities have already removed speeding cameras. But I guess those things, the facts, those inconvenient facts, don't seem to get in the way of people who want to go about imposing their agenda regardless of what the facts are.
And, you're absolutely right, Jerry. You definitely get it. They don't care. They're willing to kill people. In Pinal County, Arizona, they ripped out the cameras because fatalities doubled after they installed the camera. They know these things are killing people. But as long as they have that good opposite message to give them cover, they think they're okay. And they're just not. And that's what's happening all across the country is that, average everyday citizens are joining campaignforliberty.org, and they're getting involved, and they're ripping out these cameras along with these really bad politicians. They're getting ripped out of office as well.
Now, you guys have had a lot of success across the country. Once again, campaignforliberty.org is the website. If you would, tell people, what it is that you have been doing and the kind of successes that you've seen.
Well, we've had these cameras banned in 15 states already. There's 19 left to go. In several of the areas, they refund all the ticket money that they've ever taken. Once it's declared unconstitutional, like in the state of Minnesota, they refunded everybody's money back. This is what we're seeing happen in Ohio this week right now. They're all going to get their money back. It's a lot of fun. It really is to get involved into this realm of government and remove bad politicians, get these cameras taken down. I just have an absolute blast doing it.
When you look at the refunding of the money, I think maybe people are under the assumption that when you get a ticket, you get your day in court. But with the red light cameras and the HOV lane cameras and the speed cameras, it registers the license plate of the vehicle, but the owner of the vehicle might not be the driver, and the owner of the vehicle is responsible for the fine regardless of who's behind the wheel. But regardless of that, they don't even get their day in court, correct?
Correct. And that's one of the problems with this due process, which makes them unconstitutional. If a peace officer pulled you over and gave you a ticket, he wouldn't be ticketing the car or the car owner. He would be ticketing the driver. So they're wrongly accusing, half of the people who are getting these tickets. They're falsely accusing them, and they're guilty until not even able to prove their innocence, because many times they go before a photo radar company employee. And that's their only chance to defend themselves. And I guarantee you, every time they find them guilty.
And hopefully this is something that you guys will be successful in the 19 states that are remaining, on top of the 15 states you've been successful in getting these things ripped out of there. Is this a situation where you constantly have to keep your eye on them? Because, okay, we pulled them all out, but then, there's just something innate about these people that always circle back to stupidity. Will this be something where 2 years from now, 3 years from now, that someone else like a Christine Quinn is going to have the bright idea to reinstall these red light cameras?
It is, and it's a constant battle, and that's why we constantly need people to go to our website, campaignforliberty.org, and get involved. Minnesota, they were banned 3 years ago. They refunded everybody's money, and the state legislature tried to pass a bill to bring them back just last week. Now, luckily, Marianne out there in Minnesota with Campaign for Liberty got right on it and killed that bill right away, saving everybody the hassle of having to, deal with these cameras all over again. But it really is important that people join Campaign for Liberty and get in on this fight because it really is a lot of fun.
And I like the fact that you guys are ever vigilant in this area, because just when you think you've won the battle, as I said, there is always somebody that has a better idea, even if it's unconstitutional, even if it's unlawful, even if it's unfair, that they think that, well, if I do it, it'll be done better this time. If we do it the right way this time, then it's going to work, unlike it did in the last time. But as you guys have all the stats on warondriving.com and campaignforliberty.org, the numbers just don't bear out the stories that these people are telling, that supposedly that they're going to be able to make our lives safer or longer or better by what it is we eat, how it is we drive, and how it is they keep track of us for doing all the things that I think most people do well in and of themselves. But, again, these do-gooders and the nanny-staters seem to think that, I guess we're gullible. But thankfully, you guys, Campaign for Liberty, are out there doing what you do. Keep the successes going. As you get more of these success stories, Shawn Dow, let us know, Minnesota, Ohio, and others, and keep going and having fun, and congratulations on your continued success.
Anytime, brother. I'm always here for you.
Thank you, sir.
Great stuff. I'm seeing all this stuff. You're changing things, man. Way to go.
We're trying, baby. We're trying. Shawn Dow, thank you. Shawn is the Campaign for Liberty Director for Arizona. Campaign for FORLiberty.org. warondriving.com. Ever vigilant in pushing back against the man. Stick with us. We'll be right back.